I'm Kyle at Train Retail. My partner Jimmy and I work with jewelry stores all over the country to help them grow their profits and their freedom and fulfill their dream mission of loving people who walk through their doors. Today, I want to help you grow your profits by honing in on the mythical SI3 diamond. And I want to give you some structures on how to do that and why I think this category right now is one that a lot of people are sleeping on and is a wonderful profit center for jewelry stores that you can tap into. The SI3 diamond. Technically, to many people, it doesn't exist. I have to talk for just a moment about what an SI3 diamond is and why it exists, and what that term comes from, and how you can leverage it. So let's talk about some diamonds 4Cs for just a moment. Think of a pyramid, okay? And all the diamonds mined fall into that pyramid. And at the top of that pyramid, as far as clarity is the flawless diamond. Now here at the very tippy top of that pyramid, there's not a lot of space up there. And so by volume of the number of diamonds that get mined, very, very few are going to be a flawless diamond. They're very rare, they're very prized. You probably know this, you could assume so. Right underneath the flawless diamond is the VVS1 and the VVS2 in the clarity scale. A few more of these, but still mostly elusive, especially in the natural diamond world. There's not that many of them. Underneath that is the VS1, the VS2, a few more, still not as many. Then you're going to get SI1 and SI2. You'll have a bit more in there, and a lot of gemstones and things that you're selling right now are going to, gemstone quality diamonds are going to be in the SI category. Now, at the very bottom of that pyramid, I'm going to put I1. Now, side note, underneath that is I2, I3. I'm not talking about those today. They ain't that pretty, but they're having a bit of a moment. That's a video for another day. Put them over here. I want to talk about the base of that pyramid being the I1. There are a lot of I1s out there. By the number of diamonds being naturally mined, most of them are going to end up being in this I category. And the difference between an I and an SI is simply magnification and the location of where an inclusion inside of a diamond is. Now, depending on your school of thought, might vary this a little bit, but here's a general rule that's accepted by most. If it's an I diamond, you're going to see the inclusion without magnification. Anything SI2 and higher will require at least 10 power magnification or a jeweler's loupe to see that inclusion. And from SI2 to 1 to VS to VVS to flawless, what really matters about those grades is the semantics. Where exactly are those inclusions in the stone? How long did it take you to find them? How big are they? Etc., etc. But we can say this. Anything SI and better is going to need magnification to see the inclusion. And down here are all those I diamonds that you're going to see with the naked eye. And what happens, especially on internet sales, is those I diamonds, well, we don't sell those. Why would I want a diamond where I can see the inclusion with the naked eye? Well, this was a problem many years ago. And some very smart marketers came along and they said, well, here's the thing. Some of the I diamonds, they're kind of spicy looking. I mean, they got salt and pepper shaker junk all in them. Some of them have these big inclusions running through the course of the stone. Everyone can see it from a mile away. But there are some of these I diamonds that, I1 diamonds that just look really pretty. And it's kind of a semantics thing. I mean, if you turn the diamond this way, you can see the inclusion. But if you turn it this way, it kind of disappears. There's a big range from the base of I1 to the top of I1, where this one up here does not look as bad as this one down here. It just seems unfair to hold them accountable to each other. So, brilliant marketers came together and said, aha, my friends,
Oh, great Scott!
the SI3 diamond. The SI3 is the I1 that really shouldn't be an I1, but it doesn't quite qualify to be an SI2. It's just really pretty, and we want to sell it to the customer. And the SI3 was born. Now, you probably won't see these on lab reports because I don't know of really any companies today that are grading SI3 diamonds. Although you might still see them in sales. If you go to stellar.com, you can pick SI2, SI3 diamonds as a diamond option. Here's what happened with the SI3s. People took advantage of that. They were calling some diamonds SI3 when they really weren't. And the SI3 kind of became, well, just another I1. The reality is there still are I1 diamonds that are better looking than the others. They just sort of rise to the top. And they shouldn't be lumped into a category that makes them appear completely uninteresting to the consumer or to us. Within this I1 category, remember, we have the greatest amount of options in the mining world in this category among all of those clarities I just ranked earlier. So we have a lot of options here. We just need to mine for the ones that are going to work for us really well. Now, maybe in your store you sell things that are VS and really high quality. Don't ignore this video. And if you're timid about having I1s in your store, please don't ignore this video. It is meant for you. Let me give you some tips and tricks on how you can make the I1 a really, really wonderful category for you in your business, how it can really help your customer by having a fantastic value of a product while you're also maintaining stronger margins on your natural diamonds. It would be a win-win for all, right? Right. Let's begin. Here's the thing I have to say about I1s. You have to see them in person. If you go online to go look at I1s and you see that beautiful 360 video where you can see it from all the different angles, it still doesn't do it the kind of justice that you can when you see it in person, when it's there in your hands, when you can hold it there and really get a sense of how it looks.
Is there a pinkish hue?
There's a hue.
I1s or the SI3 category are sold almost entirely, in my experience, based on how they look in the mounting. And so the goal here is for us to identify I1s or the SI3s that we want to see in person and handpick them for our store. These will be purchases that we make, and we're going to ideally put them in mounted jewelry that's going to be cash and carry items that walk out the door. I'll get to that in a moment. Pick from one of your reputable diamond dealers, someone that you trust and you can see a nice extensive list from. Go look at all of their I1s and know that there's a big variation in the lowest I1 to the highest I1. And in my experience, a lot of the variation is going to be determined in the net price. The nicer I1s are going to be priced better than the ones that look like frozen spit. Obviously, we may want to avoid these frozen spit ones unless that's what we're after. So we're going to be looking at some of the nicer I1s. Here are some of the metrics that I'm looking for on paper that help give me a sense that it might work for me in my purposes today. The first is I'm going to be looking at the symmetry and the table. Notice I didn't jump to cut. You can look at nice cuts, like a V good or an excellent. And by the way, jewelers can't distinguish, in fact, no one can distinguish the difference between a very good and an excellent cut with a naked eye. That's also down to semantics. I've also seen some good cut diamonds that look fantastic. So I don't want to judge it quite yet based on the cut grade that it was given. I'm looking at the symmetry. Does it receive a good symmetry grade and does it have a good table? A lot of I1s out there that have been floating around for a while may come from older periods of time, like in the 70s, where in the 70s, even in the 80s, these big cuts were made where the table was really wide, 65%, and it creates this fisheye effect. They were called swindler cuts to make them look bigger in size than they actually were in carat. They don't have a lot of sparkle. They kind of die when you see them in person. And so I'm looking for a table that has something more of a modern size, like 55 to 60%, and a symmetry that's at least very good or excellent, because those typically indicate to me that this might have some exciting play to it, at least on paper. Then, of course, you might want to look for a cut that is V good or better. I also want a nice color. I really want a nice color.
Yeah, they were all yellow.
There's a certain color in my store that works really well. And you might have to look at the sales in your store. What's the color range that's really working for you? Is it GHI or do you need something that's more DEF? Can you get away with, IJ even? Look at what's selling in your store and what kind of mountings these are going in, but get something that has color that you feel good about, that looks nice. The color and the cut matter the most in that sparkle of the diamond. We already know the clarity is going to be an I1, but maybe we can deal with that once we see it in person. Okay, once I've identified 2 or 3 stones in this 1 carat range, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to call for them, and I want to see them in person. And as I've called for them, I usually have a product in mind that they're going to go into. These are not going to be sitting out loose. I1s, in my experience, have had a lot of success right now putting them in mounted goods, pendants, earrings, and diamond fashion in particular, and having them be cash and carry, sale out the door type items. Bridal is a hit or miss. Depends on your area, depends on your store. But a lot of people are going to get really up close and personal with bridal, and they may want a little higher clarity grade, but maybe not. It's for you to decide. Actually, I should say it's for your customer to decide. But nevertheless, we're going to be bringing these diamonds in with the thought that they're going to go into specific mountings. So I'll also pull those mountings and I'll put them on my desk so that when the diamonds arrive, I'm going to put the diamonds next to the pendants. This is the next part of our process. Look at the stone in your hand and see what it looks like. Again, we know that it's going to be an I1. So when I'm looking at these, our instinct as jewelers is to pull that stone out and immediately grab our loupe, look at it like this. That's not what customers do. Customers will take a look at it just like this in our hand, about this far away from it. So that's where you should start. Look at it about this far away from it, get the mounting, stick it up next to it, and ask yourself, does this look exciting? That's exactly how customers are going to be buying these diamonds. They're going to look at it and say, is this exciting? Is it sparkling? Is it scintillating? Does it look like fire to the eye? Does it look illustrious, beautiful, amazing? That's what we're going for. So putting those together, if it does, you probably found yourself a winner. And if it doesn't, fine, send it back. Now that you've handpicked some of these I1s that you get excited about, mount them into some finished pieces and stick them up front in prominent displays to make them look beautiful and exciting. When the customers come in, you might ask yourself, what do I do? If I'm a store that sells a lot about the 4 C's and I really like quality, how do you expect me to sell this I1? Based on how it looks. These are great sellers when we really rely on how does it look, not how does it sound to the ear. Show it off. Put it on somebody. Let them see it on. Don't just tell them, here's this piece on this neck over here. Look at it. No, take it off. Put it on them. Let them see it. Let them experience it. Get their feedback. Does it excite them? Look at their eyes. Do they light up when they see it? If they ask you about the 4 C's, you can tell them, this is an I1G color. The symmetry on it is excellent. It's amazing, beautiful, modern cut. I love it. And if you get any pushback on that being an I1, here's the thing. Tell them the truth. I hand-pick this, and I pick this over SI2 diamonds that frankly don't look as good. Here's a little side note, especially these days. SI2 is becoming kind of the new I1 to me. There are some SI2s I look at and go, really? This got an SI2? It looks like an I1. It doesn't even look like a good I1. I have seen so many I1s that way outperform SIs. Well, be honest about that. Some of the diamonds that you will see listed online, especially in the lower end of the SI2 range that the consumers can buy dirt cheap, they're dirt cheap for a reason. They're SI2s that just someone liked a little too much and gave them an SI2 grade, but they're really an I1. An I1 that you just picked out is prettier than that one. Here's the secret to protecting your margins and giving the customer great value. Price these I1s based on those SI2 diamonds that you're out to beat. Those SI2 diamonds that are off cut, off shape, don't have a lot of life to them, are a little bit hazy, they've got a salt and pepper finish to them, whatever the case, the I1 you've picked out is prettier than that one. So make sure that you value price it at or even above this SI2. You're out to kill it and show the customer, I have hand-picked, hand-curated this one, and I am the gem expert. I am the jewelry expert. Trust me when I say, this one is way prettier than this one over here, and you're going to get a great value for it. You might even get a bigger size, a better color, a more scintillating look to it, because I've hand curated it over the one that you'd buy over here that just sounds good to the ear. Ultimately, the way we love to wear diamonds is on us. We don't carry around the certificate that came with it. And that's how you sell it. This is why I think the I1 SI3 category is ripe for the picking right now for fine jewelry retailers. It is not out to kill all of the high-end sales, but it is to provide the customer a natural diamond at a competitive price that you have handpicked, and it puts you, when you sell it correctly, in the position of expert who has handpicked, hand-curated the selection with them in mind. They also get a diamond that is competitively priced with other diamonds that you'll see online, and it will have features about it that you can't get online, even though they're paying the same price. Maybe this 1 carat I1, you're selling to them for $3,500 with all of the extra warranties and benefits of your store, while this SI2 over here from the online store is $3,500 and it doesn't have any of that stuff with it. You are the expert and you offer so much more. This is just one way that you can really sell yourself, position yourself as the expert in your area, protect your margins, and give the customer great value all at once with this mythical SI3 diamond that doesn't technically exist. There you go. I hope this has been helpful. If you want someone to help you look at your current inventory and specifically pieces, categories, and price points where you can leverage the I1 I've just talked about for success, give us a holler. We can look at your inventory selection you have now and help you curate what holes you need to fill, and specifically with what diamonds and what areas to help give you the most profit for your store and help your customers walk away happy. And at any point in this process, we're not here to put our thumb in the scale and gouge the customer. But when we can win-win, where our clients, our jewelry store clients, are making great margins and their customers are walking out with great value, that is our sweet spot. Give us a holler at trainretail.com. You can email me directly, Kyle@trainretail.com, or Jimmy, my partner, at trainretail.com. We would love to visit with you about how we can help you. Your first meeting with us is absolutely free. Go check us out. We'd love to hear from you. Good luck out there, and I'll see you next time.